Hello, good evening. It's been a while that I've been able to come into a video. I'm beginning to get together a small assignment for myself, and since I'm here in India, I feel I can push the business that we used to look for in Dubai better when I'm sitting over here. So I've been busy with that for a few days, and therefore I have not been able to come. But it's not that it's not been on my mind. And Today I came to say hello to my viewers and to talk about my the other side of me. Um, Let me tell you what happened the other day in my house. Anyway, tomorrow I'm going to the Mandir, to Mamancha Mandir, because I've been dreaming of snakes. Okay, now I don't know whether dreaming of snakes is a good sign or a bad sign, but I had gone there and made a given a pujo, and then I was supposed to take the packet they gave me to that place. And the day I went back, I found that place had become a real business mafia were all around. To see God, I have to pay, take a token and pay and stand in line and all that. So I walked away from there. So that packet never went back. But I've been having dreams. I had a dream, I'll say, of three snakes, which was a bit scary. So I don't know if it has anything to do with that or whether it was a warning or whether it was a good sign. But now that I'm on to my career again, um, I would like to clean the platter for anything that might be undone. Go and finish the job the way it was said to be done. So this is one thing that I dreamt of snakes, and then the other thing is during this heavy torrential rain and thunderstorms. Okay. Now, in my drawing room, we got up one morning and we found on the floor something like something had burnt out there. Like the whole floor had this shadow of as if something had burnt. And we had not burnt anything. There are some wires for the TV and the music system and all that. But this is on the ground and against a wooden cabinet on the ground. How dangerous that can be. And it happened at night because we woke up to it. And I didn't see anything that, uh, like any wire that was burnt. Okay, I just saw like as if when a place gets singed, okay, and next to it was what I would call like the pitch or peach or whatever they put on the roads, something like that melted over there. Till now, I don't know what that is because the wires are all intact and it happened at night. So these two things I've always told you that ever since I've come to this house, I've been on and off having strange little experiences. Some can be explained, some can't. But there's been a lot of electronic item problems in this house, and electricity, I believe, is one of the mediums for a kind of connection or um, them trying to connect with you, to say that they're around. So I don't know what all this means. And I have chosen not to go and try to find out, except go and give a pujo and bring back some holy water and throw it all over my house because I can't explain the the reasons why these are happening. Well, today I came across something that I used to uh, read and study about before, and it's called EVP, electronic voice phenomenon. Okay, now strange as it is may seem, sometimes when you're in a half subconscious state or in a sleep state, you might hear someone calling you. It happens to me. I don't know if it happens to others. I can hear it in my mother's voice, or my sister's voice, or someone calling my name. Okay. So I went into this, when it happened to me that time, I started like, is this a mind thing? Because there are so many nerves in the head, we don't know what is. So, and to a certain degree, there might be a dent of some amount of, I won't say insanity, but something like that that might trigger something in the brain to make you imagine, or, it could be happening to me. I don't know. But it's not happening all the time. And it's not happened for a long time. Like I used to tell you, the doorbell keeps ringing over here. So of late, it hasn't happened. There were about 8 or 9 people who have left this world, and that time it was happening a lot. But of late, a friend of mine passed away. That night, my watch stopped at quarter to 12. It's still on that timing, which is quarter past 12 actually, quarter past 12, and the watch was running, and the battery just ran out. Now, I know that in the morning I got up and heard that he's passed away. So I didn't try to find out anything more. And he's gone, he's gone. And I hope he's in a better place and he's in the light. That's all we can pray for our friends and relatives. Suddenly, to people of our age group, as I say, that there is nothing called growing old, actually, or as I grow older, I feel this. When we were much younger, much younger, if we were, say, 15 years old, someone of 27 seemed much older. Or someone, when we were 27, someone of 42 or 50 seemed. But as you keep crossing the stages, you realize that inside you're still who you were as a child. The child in you never dies. The child in you never dies. And when you go through experiences in life, the harsher side, it's that child that gets hurt. You, but the the bigger you now has learned how to control it, okay, and rationalize things instead of. So coming back to the point, where was I? Um, yes, about the voices in the head. So now this people talk that people might be having, uh, might hear voices. It could be a reason. It could be a medical reason. But if it's not happening all the time, then it's, to me, it's something that sparks, and I get a small feel of something which just comes like this and goes. There used to be like my bedroom at one time when I was in Dubai. I used to feel that house was definitely, I've told you, there were issues. In fact, that whole complex was beginning to have issues. But before it all started, um, uh, I used to feel that there were a lot of people talking in the room, but I couldn't understand what they were saying. But I could hear, like, as if there are lots of people and they're all talking. It doesn't happen in this house. It was happening in that house. There are lots of people who are talking, but I can't understand the language and I can't understand what they're saying. Okay, but I used to hear it. It was like a buzz going on and on till I fell asleep. And that is what brings me back to the electrical voice phenomenon, because this has been studied by scientists, saying that can we reach out to our friends and relatives who've passed on through a electronic item. And way back in the 60s, I'm sorry, I can't remember the name now, there was a scientist who, if you see, go through things, you will see that there are these tapes where he said that once it happens, he will come back. Once he passes away, he will come back and prove it. Okay, whether we can talk from the other side, whether the whether we're just a dimension away, from where we can communicate with them. Right now, we can't, right? We can't. We can feel or we can sense, but the actual communication, there's been a lot of study on that, and that is called EVP. Okay. So I've heard a lot of stories about phones ringing and people picking up and hearing static voices, or messages being left on the recorder of somebody who should have been who should have not been there at that time according to the time of their death, but there was a message after the death left on the recorder. There are a lot of strange things that happen, you know. There are a lot of strange things that happen, and that I have to, like, admit, fascinates me. However crazy it may sound, it fascinates me. I wouldn't dapple with it because I saw in between when, I think I've said that story earlier, where I felt a hand go down and I felt very sick after that. So no dappling with it. But if we feel something, or you suddenly feel cold, or you hear something, someone call your name, somebody who may be alive still, but somebody may be coming in that form and calling you, don't reply. Don't reply. Just let it pass. And those mostly happen when you're in a semi-conscious state, because that is when you are most open to the realm. You're, it is believed that when we sleep, it's like death. Okay, there's a there's a, what should I say? The spirit in our body leaves, but it is tied to us by a cord, by a silver cord, and that is why it always returns. And we go here and there, and sometimes we see another country, or we even meet people, like I dream of my mother, or who hasn't shown up for a long, long time, but suddenly she comes in my dreams. I do believe that we are meeting them. I do believe that. Or suddenly this dream of snakes. Maybe it's giving me a warning. I've had a lot of dreams that have had meanings. I don't know how to read dreams, but when I've related it to something that's happened in my life, I find that maybe there was a warning in my dream. Okay. Most of it is subconscious, but if there be a power there, and you believe in it, you can maybe connect when you're in that semi-conscious state between sleep and waking up. That's the actual time when people do what they call the astral walk and things like that. Now, I'm no walker in my, I don't sleepwalk, and I don't walk in my, or leave my body to go to other places. And so I don't know much. It's something you have to learn, it's something you have to be in control. And all this takes meditation and things like that. It just doesn't happen. We have heard of great saints who've been seen in two places at the same time. Okay. There is a book, Autobiography for Yogi. If you ever read that book, you will understand that these people gave up their life for everything, because we in our life are so troubled by our daily life and things, that we are not connecting to that power that all of us have it. Those people gave up everything so that they could only connect to that power, and feel it and study it, and leave us with stories. So if anybody is interested, read the autobiography of Yogi. It will give you some idea. Now, I'll kind of bring it slowly to an end by telling you something very strange that happened many years ago. And recently, we've been hearing about so many air crashes. Okay. It's a terrible thing to even experience. I mean, if I'm in an aircraft and suddenly the aircraft just drops, only my heart, like, it's happened through bad storms, and I just start praying. But there's nothing you can do. You're helpless up there now. Look at these pilots getting, I mean, When you get onto a plane, you have to pray that you got a good pilot on board who's got all his you know, faculties in the right place, because there have been Malaysian airlines that disappeared. It had a story. Then recently Air India. Then before that there was another huge Air India crash, which was not the pilot's fault, it was a fault. But there have been a lot of stories about aircrafts. Now I'm not going to go into those stories, but I'm only going to tell you the one I went through. So I was in Dubai, and my daughter was already in Canada and her doing her. She finished her first year, and first year they give you residency on the premises of the college of the university. But from second year, you've got to go and find a place for yourself. And that, since it's a university area, there's a lot of accommodation. You know, like here in Mukundapur, because of all the hospitals. I stayed there for about 8 months when I returned in a flat, and I found that there were so many houses mainly built for the patients who were coming and taking treatment, and they needed a place to stay. Mm. And I'll just sidetrack for a minute and tell you how sorry I felt for one family. They were I went to have a bharat cha, and one lady was standing over there, and she and her family were also having a bharat cha. And she came up to me and said, "Do you have a place to stay?" And I kind of looked at her. I said, "I stay here, but I don't have any place to stay. Why?" So she's saying, she showed me her son, young, strapping boy in his 20s. He needs a kidney transplant, and his mother is going to give him one kidney. But they're looking for a place to stay, you know, to stay over there and recover. So it was something like that. Um, where did I get? This is what happens to me. Where was I? So yeah, so you have like my daughter, when she was in went into she was going into the second year. She had to find her own place. So her father went with her, because really we have to talk to the landlady, see where she's staying, pay up, mm, make sure it's a safe place and it's walking distance from the college and things like that. And the weather isn't always very friendly out there, so mostly not friendly out there. So they left. They left on the flight, and I know that they were going to Dubai to some in between place, and then from there they were going to take a flight to Toronto. So when they reached the first leg of journey was over, um, which was about 7 8 hours, I think. They got off and they called me. And they said, "We've reached. Now we're waiting for the second flight to board it." And then, so I knew everything was okay. And I used to paint a lot during those days. So I continued. I was happy that, she was into her second year. And um, her watching her growth as a mother. And she was doing well also, touch wood. And what happened is, when they boarded the second flight and they were on the Toronto leg, say they were in Amsterdam or somewhere, they were on the Toronto leg, I get a call from my daughter's mobile. And I'm looking at the phone, and you know how your heart, because I believe these things, my heart just jumped when I saw my daughter's phone ringing on my phone. They shouldn't be on the ground, they should be in the air. And in fact, they had told me, just call me before boarding, saying we are going, and so bye bye, and we'll again reconnect once we reach Toronto. Anyway, with a lot of this thing, I put that phone on and I listened. It was total static noise. There was nothing there. It was kind of a, you know, when you sometimes your television gives that static and everything seems very, that kind of a noise was coming through. And that got me worried. That got me worried as a mother. Because how can my daughter's phone be ringing when she's in the air? Yes, airlines have a lot of facilities, but we're not going to waste our money on that, like to try, unless there's an emergency or something. But these two are just flying happily, both my whole family's in the air, and then I get a call from my daughter's phone. So I went and started looking at the news. Then I opened you can, uh, on the websites, you can open a flight by its number and you can see that it's still midair. They'll never show you where it is, but it'll tell you that it's still flying. But they'll never obviously tell you over which area it's flying. So I saw the flight still proceeding and so many hours left for it to land. So that kind of calmed me down a little bit. That as per the online this thing, the the flight is still in the air. But what was this call I got? Then they reached Toronto. I was just kept calm because see, you don't know anything. That could be showing something, but something else could be happening. You don't know till. But no, they landed in Toronto. She called me up and I said, "Baby, did you call me?" She said, "Are you mad? Why will I call you? We were in the air." So till today, I don't know what that call was. And it's just my baby, but if I ring up, it'll go back to my child now. But that day it called and it was static noise. There are many menacing things. There was a static noise. And I was alone. Obviously, for the next 10 hours, I'm going to be absolutely uh, restless getting a call like that. I said, "Did you try to even call me, thinking in case of." She's saying, "No, ma, I didn't do anything. I was sleeping right through." So this was my story today, and I don't know how to explain these things. Tomorrow, I'm going to go and give my pujo. I'm going to get up early and go and give a. You have to always, what should I say, surround yourself with a good energy, so a protective energy. Because if you leave, we don't know what we leave open. Or in Dubai, for that to happen, there was no such reason. Okay, here I can understand. I've had to go for my friends' funerals. I mean, can understand what I mean. And if there be such a thing, I've had some experiences. My husband, who's a non believer, has had experiences, but he would rather not relate to them. But I stick to it, and I believe that that day, that call that came was a paranormal call. It was just to mess me up for some time. And that is why I studied about EVPs. And I found out that sometimes these things happen. You pick up a call, you can't hear, you just hear a static line of a very far, faint voice. And we think it's something wrong with the line and we put it down. But sometimes there's more than that. So good night for today and see you again. And I shall update you all about my work when it picks up, as and when it picks up, and bring my offers to you also for those who like to travel. Here I can only put up my travel stories, and hopefully, if I make those travels, I'll be able to take you around and show you. So that's it for today. Good night.